All right, we're back. Let's go out to Cincinnati and talk to Jennifer. What's up, Jennifer?
Hi there, Dr. John.
What's up?
So my question is this.
Hold on. That was a big sigh. Tell me it's the holiday season and you're about to ask a really complex question without saying anything. All right, let's do it.
Okay. How do I approach the presence of my uncle at family gatherings? There's a long history in our family around my uncle. 20 years ago, my little brother, who was about 10 at the time, reported that my uncle had masturbated in front of him on a camping trip. My uncle told him not to tell. Police got involved, but my brother turned out to be an unreliable witness, and so the case didn't really go anywhere. My cousin, my uncle's son, has confronted his father and alleged that he was molested by his father. But so he's currently no contact with his dad, my uncle. My uncle denies all these allegations, seems very sad at, the loss of all the connection. But my dad is his older brother. Still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
He's still there. Okay. I got the text. My dad is very loyal to his younger brother, invites him to our family gatherings now when he's got no plans. So I feel so much tension about this. I mean, there's no legal convictions, and he's this human sitting across from me at the table at gatherings. And my cousin feels betrayed that his father is still welcomed at gatherings despite what he went through. And my younger brother, not to mention him, he still acts like nothing even happened. Should I protest that he's invited to these things? Should I not hug him when he walks in the door? Am I complicit in this by not saying anything? How do I approach this? What's my posture towards him in this?
Yeah, what a mess. I think I missed something. Your brother said he just acts like nothing happened, or your uncle just acts like nothing happened.
They both do. Everyone does.
Oh, okay. Well, I think there's a clear reason why people act like that. Because your brother did something scary and terrifying and told the truth and nothing happened. Except in a way he got in trouble, right? When you're 10 and you have to go meet with cops and you have to do all these things and they ultimately say, you're not reliable.
Uh-huh.
You get a message loud and clear. Shut your mouth. Nobody cares what you have to say.
Yeah.
Followed up by somebody else his age reports something. Again, nothing happens. Right? So everybody has a very clear message that nothing happened.
Right.
Except I am from the old school where there's smoke, there's fire. And if two young boys that have a lot to lose both point their fingers in a very similar way to somebody, it's very rare, like the movies, where two pathological, a cousin and a brother get together and hey, let's take down. That just doesn't happen. I mean, anyway, I'm of the old school that where there's smoke, there's fire. Do you have kids?
Yeah. No.
Okay, so I'm
the fun aunt.
This is you're the fun aunt. Okay, so this is largely about you.
Yeah.
Have you asked your cousin and your brother their feelings, their thoughts, their ideas on all of this?
I know my cousin's thoughts and feelings about it.
So your cousin just won't come.
Right. He doesn't have any interaction with his dad, and he thinks everyone is a huge hypocrite who acts like everything's fine. And now he doesn't come to things because his dad is at things.
Right.
And his kids don't come,
Sure. If I'd been molested by somebody, I'm not going to let my kids be around them.
Right.
Right. So yeah, let's play this back. Let's say your uncle really did do these things. There's more boys out there who are now men that this happened to. And think how his son feels. To have the courage to come out and say the hardest thing you could ever say against against your dad. And he lost his family over it, not the other way around?
Pretty terrible.
Yeah. I mean, wow. And let's just, you mentioned some pretty important things about humanity. Of course your uncle's sad. Of course he is. He lost everything. But him being sad isn't why I'm going to in any way compromise my values. I'm still going to do what I think is right. So let me ask you this. I can't give you this answer. What do you think is right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm inclined to believe the children who said that an adult violated them, violated their innocence. I struggle with, I didn't invite him to my gathering. My parents invited him to theirs.
So sometimes our parents do things that, you've heard me say this a million times, behavior is a language.
Yes.
And so if you invite them, then you're telling me you don't want me to come. That's great. Happy holidays.
Okay.
I do think that's a conversation to have with your dad. It's a grown-up conversation that will be highly uncomfortable for you, but you're an adult and you can do it. Say, hey, Dad, I've reached a point where I can't be in his presence anymore.
Okay.
And so if you choose to invite him, he's your brother. I get it. There's no legal findings. I know, but I've talked to I've talked to your son, and you're choosing your brother over your son. You're allowed to do that, but I'm going to spend holidays with him and this other man's son. Mm-hmm. And by the way, I would be stunned if your dad didn't have an inkling one way or the other.
He acts like he's pretty confident.
That his son just made up a huge lie about his brother?
Yeah. Law enforcement, so he swears up and down he knows to tell when people are lying.
Of course they do.
You
should read the data on that. And
I know. They're not any better than anybody else.
Nope. But they're infinitely more confident than they are.
Way more confident.
That's right. That's right. Phew. I'm sorry. It's a mess.
It's not fun.
Yeah. I'll tell you what I would do. I'll tell you what I would do. If I have a little brother. He's not little. He's a grown man, but I have a little brother. Mm-hmm. And if he came forward and said this about one of my uncles when he was 10, this thing happened. And then I had another cousin come out and say this thing about his dad. Mm-hmm. That would be enough for me that I would choose to be with my little brother.
Okay.
That's just me. It's not a right or wrong. It's not up or down. Yes, people make up things. I've been a part of those investigations too. I know that. Yes, they do. Mm-hmm. And it's not very common. And not from multiple sources. And not when people have when kids have so much to lose.
Yeah, people don't get investigated multiple times over different years for the same thing and still be innocent.
I mean, maybe, but that's why he's not in jail, because maybe, right?
Yeah.
What does your gut tell you?
My gut tells me that the kids told the truth.
Okay. Follow your gut. And okay. Jennifer, I know what that means. That means hell. I know.
Yeah, and I don't like to make trouble.
I know. Trouble made you. And if your uncle actually did these things, he's the one who chose to burn down your family tree, not you. You're trying to replant it in fertile soil.
Yes, fertile soil. Yes.
Okay.
All right.
And this is all different because there's a potential child molester in the mix. This is all different because there's no repentance. There was no, I screwed up. There's no redemption. I mean, there's nothing to be redeemed here. It's a adults versus multiple kids, and the adult won. Now, maybe when you meet with your dad could say, hey, I'm going to show you some evidence that you didn't know existed when you were younger. Mm-hmm. Those boys got together and made this whole thing up. Check. Everybody okay?
Yeah, no, the dog sees the mailman.
Okay, cool. So maybe that's the case. I think there's a 0.00001% chance that's the case. Sounds more like your dad doesn't want to believe this and can't believe this about his brother, And so he chose his brother over his son and thought, he's just a kid. He'll get over it. By the way, parents, if your kids come to you with this sort of, hey, this happened to me when it comes to sexual abuse, always default to believing your children first. Always. Always. That sounds really not like them. Always. Start with, I believe you. Always. Jennifer, I'm sorry. Not by your hand, but in your lap. This mess came upon you. And conversations I would start with my little brother. And maybe you have to start and say, I'm sorry. I believed you, but I've just kept showing up because I don't like to make trouble. And Jennifer got a pair of boxing gloves for Christmas, and so I'm going to make some trouble. By the way, everybody listening to this call is coming before the holidays, and I'm imagining Jennifer's entering into the holiday season, and you'll be hearing this after some of these hard conversations. So, Jennifer, feel free to call us back and let us know how those conversations went. Whew.